baby? That kid never had a chance. And as if your bloodline isn't filth enough, you poison it by merging it with Klaus's? The deathless vermin, fancying himself a daddy.
To be honest, compared to the Vampire Diaries, there really isn't much plot armor in the originals, mainly because the main characters are ridiculously strong, or at least very powerful witches. Compared to the Vampire Diaries, which only had like one powerful character that happens to be a main character, that being Bonnie. So I really struggled to get 10 plot armor moments, and because of that, so not all of them are necessarily plot armors. There are some that I only put here because I found them very stupid. So let me know in the comments about your rankings and the plot armors I did miss. But anyways, onto the rankings.
What is that?
This is the last remaining white oak stake. And the power is in me. There's only one way to make sure it's gone for good. Someone needs to kill me.
This is not necessarily a plot armor, mainly because it ended with the death of one of the main characters. This is more so an example of a plot device because it didn't really save Klaus, so it can't be a plot armor. Although it can be argued that it did save Hope. I also mentioned this in my video going over 10 plot holes in the originals, in which one of the plot holes there was Klaus pulling a white oak stake out of nowhere. And like I said in that video, this is something that the writers just randomly pulled up because they wanted the show to end and Klaus to die. There is literally no explanation for this. They tried to explain in the show, but it makes no sense. Klaus is extremely proud of his immortality, and even if he said that he wasn't, how exactly would he have hid a whole white oak stake away from the Strix? The Strix were actively searching for it. A whole coven was searching for it. So, the random white oak stake that nobody knew existed was a device that helped to move the plot along. Hence, a plot device. And like I said, not necessarily a plot armor, but it also could be argued to be technically a plot armor because it did save Hope's life. Just like with the first one, this also kind of wasn't a plot armor. However, it was so stupid that you can actually argue it for being plot armor. If Hayley wasn't the main character, then this would definitely be a case of plot armor. Mainly because everything around this was just made to make Hayley die. Like everything in the scene ensures that Hayley died, even though a lot of things that actually happened could have easily been avoided if Hayley just did something else. Almost everything that happened in the scene was made so that Hayley definitely dies at the end. You got Klaus getting stabbed in the back, and then he somehow forgot that he's capable of removing the stake from his back. Like he literally was just on his knees the entire time. The only time he got up was when Hayley ran past him taking Greta with her. And then you have Hayley, who has the element of surprise by breaking off Greta's fingers, the same finger with a daylight ring on, and for some reason she decides to kamikaze herself instead of just grabbing her and just chucking her out of the door. And even after she kamikaze herself, why didn't Klaus just run and grab her and just bring her back in? He's more than fast enough to do that. Instead of just yelling no, he could have just grabbed her. Also, I think Hayley has the fastest death by sunlight out of any vampire. Hayley incinerated instantly. That has never happened before. You slowly begin burning and then you catch on fire. You don't instantly incinerate.
I've not lived an honorable life. You know that. But doing this, taking the darkness into myself so no one else is afflicted by it, that is an honorable death, and I can do that. I can do it. Hope. Because you've helped me feel something that I never thought was possible. Unconditional love.
This is also technically not a plot armor, and this was actually included in my plot holes for the originals. Mainly because, like I said in that video, it shouldn't be able to kill Klaus because Elijah doesn't have any relation to the Hollow. Yes, he's related to Klaus. Yes, he's related to Hope, but he is not related to the Hollow. Yes, you might say that he's related to Hope, but that automatically runs the risk of saying that the Hollow should actually be part of Sophia's bloodline after she took over Sophia's body. Meaning that Hayley shouldn't have been able to harm the Hollow. Now we get the actual plot holes. The Hollow not purging the witches. Don't know why she never did that. She didn't kill Freya, she didn't kill Vincent, she didn't kill any of the witches. None of the witches in New Orleans should have survived. Like, the Hollow was described as this cataclysmic force of death, and she didn't kill that many people, including her biggest threats. Like, sure, it might be able to explain why she would keep Hope alive or keep Hayley alive, but why exactly would she keep Freya alive or Vincent or any other witch that isn't aligned with her? She could and should have killed all of them. And speaking of the Hollow not killing people that she definitely should have.
How predictable.
You'll pay for this.
I've killed you once, Elijah. I won't hesitate to do so again.
By the way that Vincent described the Hollow based on how destructive the Hollow would be if she was actually resurrected, like, you'd be expecting cataclysmic events just because she's roaming the earth. Like, I'm expecting so many people to die.
You guys aren't listening, okay? Even if we do cure Elijah, we still have a big problem. That's called the Hollow, and it's just gonna keep coming at us until it resurrects. And when that happens, we're talking about an ancient, primal power that's made flesh and blood. It will wipe out this entire city in an afternoon, and ain't a damn thing that you or anybody else here can do about it.
After all of this hype, she killed no one. Literally, the only main character that she killed was Elijah before she was resurrected. After she was resurrected, she didn't kill no one. None of the originals died. None of the originals came to much harm. She destroyed Hayley, but she didn't kill Hayley. She destroyed Marcel. She didn't kill Marcel. She didn't kill Elijah, even though she threatened him. Even though Elijah was right there. She didn't kill Freya. She didn't kill Klaus. She didn't kill Kol. She didn't kill Rebekah. She didn't kill anyone. Nothing happened to the Mikaelsons from something that is described as the walking darkness and death and just destruction. That basically just turned out to be an even more powerful, darker version of Davina. And the weird thing is, the originals were her biggest threats, and again, she didn't kill any of them. She threatened them, she hurt them, but she didn't kill any of them. It's not like she didn't have the power to. She clearly stated that she does, but for some reason, she just didn't use it at all.
His power's gone. He's nothing but an ordinary vampire now.
Lucien not killing Freya ultimately led to his defeat and consequently his death. And the reason why this is plot armor for Freya and ultimately plot armor for the Mikaelsons is because Lucien literally had Freya right in front of his face. Not to mention, Lucien already was going to kill Freya anyways after he transformed. He literally said that he was going to kill Freya just before Finn and Elijah showed up. And he had Freya there, like literally right there, right in front of his face. Freya can't really go anywhere. And even if she tried to fight, there is nobody there strong enough to actually fight Lucien. Killing Freya automatically takes out the only powerful witch that's blindly loyal to the Mikaelsons. Kill Freya and he wins. He can continue trolling the Mikaelsons if Freya isn't there, because Freya is his only threat. And the weird thing about this is that Lucien actually knows that Freya is capable of channeling a lot of power, because he's seen her do that. But Freya was there, he didn't kill her, and then he just decided to leave. In fact, he could have won everything. He could have just sat down and waited Freya out, because he already bit Finn and Finn didn't really have long left, meaning that Freya would either have to drop the barrier and try to run away, or she will be forced to watch Finn die. And the only person that can come and save them is Klaus, therefore luring Klaus into a trap, giving Lucien exactly what he wanted. And all he had to do was just wait Freya out and actually want to kill Freya. Freya won't be able to use any spell on Lucien because Vincent is there, and therefore the ancestors will be there, meaning all of Freya's spells will be cancelled out by the ancestors. So Vincent would have won easily bit Klaus, easily bit Elijah, and then just kill Freya. Boom, won. Easily. Oh yeah, Hayley killed Kara and then beat 11 witches at the exact same time. She didn't just endure 11 witches, she beat all of them. In fact, killed all of them. Because these witches for some reason forgot that they actually have other abilities as in other spells other than aneurysm. They hit her with one aneurysm and that's it. No burn snaps, no neck snaps, literally nothing. They did nothing, just aneurysm, and I think they only did that once. Even if it's just an aneurysm, there is no way that Hayley can tank an aneurysm from 11 witches simultaneously, hitting her at full force. Like 11 witches, are you insane? 11. That's enough for a whole coven. Like, I'm sorry, if they can't take on Hayley when there's 11 of them and Hayley could tank all of their powers simultaneously, then they are basically useless. You might say that Hayley can just fight through it. Sure, I might see Hayley actually beating the witches if it was just one witch hitting of aneurysm, or maybe 3 or 4, but definitely not more than 5. 11 witches should be more than enough to put her on the ground crying. If it was an original, I might be able to understand them tanking that much power, but not a regular hybrid. There just ain't no way.
Davina found our missing Strix. Wolf bites. They were tortured and then torn apart. Elijah, Jackson was killed just around the corner from here. The Strix are still going to want the head of whoever did this.
Burn the bodies. Hayley! What do you think you're doing?
I'm not gonna lie, if you're a member of the Strix and you wasn't named, then you are basically useless fodder. Everyone can beat you. Josh can probably beat you. Matt Donovan can probably beat you. This fairy guy from Legacies could probably beat you. Now imagine Caroline's plot armor twin sister Hayley coming towards you. She's also definitely going to beat you. And that's exactly what happened. Hayley was hunting Strix members, which is kind of confusing because as Aya puts it,
"We're ancient vampires, Elijah. Each of us almost as strong as you."
Which kind of doesn't make sense because if all of them are almost as old as Elijah, that would at least, I would say, relatively, would probably put them at least around 700, if not older. And Hayley was squad wiping all of them. Now you might say that she sneak attacked them and bit them. No, I cannot accept that because that's not how werewolf bites work. It doesn't affect them instantly. That's not how it was established in the Vampire Diaries, the show that came before the originals and actually created a law around werewolves and their bites. Now, if you say that Klaus doing the biting, it might have that effect, then sure. If you say Lucien doing the biting and having that effect, then sure. If you say Marcel doing the biting and having that effect, then sure. But not Hayley, not any werewolf, or any regular hybrid. A bite from them wouldn't weaken you that quickly. Definitely wouldn't put you out of commission that quickly either. When Rose was bitten, it took her hours for her to actually notice the physical side effects of her actually getting bitten. And the first thing that went was her mental sanity, not her physical strength. And that only showed up the next morning after she was bitten. Although the wound was there, she wasn't physically affected by it. When Damon was bitten by Tyler, it took hours for Damon to actually start feeling the side effects. Like literally the next day. Damon still had his ability and was able to use it at full effect during the hybrid ritual after he was already bitten. And you might say these people are just regular werewolf and Hayley was a hybrid. Sure, but you have Tyler when he was a hybrid. He bit Caroline in season 3 and she didn't sustain any effects immediately. It took her a while for her to start feeling the effects. And later on when Tyler bit Nadia, the same thing again. In fact, Nadia still had enough strength to fight off Tyler. But in the originals, whenever a werewolf bites you or a hybrid bites you, you are done. Hayley was able to beat Shenmin the first time because she bit Shenmin. And for some reason that was able to weaken him enough for Hayley to actually not only beat him, but capture him and had him chained up. That's not how werewolf venom works. Shenmin should have enough strength to easily still fight off Hayley. In fact, Mohinder lost to Marcel because of that. It doesn't work that quickly. Mohinder drank Marcel's blood, which was laced with werewolf venom, and for some reason that started to weaken Mohinder instantly. So yeah, you just plot armor all around. There's no reason for Hayley to beat any Strix members because even if she sneak attacks them, unless she outright kills them, she wouldn't be able to beat them. Especially not to the extent of actually capturing people. Strix members who are one of the oldest vampires in history. If Tyler was struggling with Nadia, then Hayley shouldn't be strong enough to actually beat vampires that are that old.
The baby!
The baby? That kid never had a chance. And as if your bloodline isn't filth enough, you poison it by merging it with Klaus's? The deathless vermin, fancying himself a daddy.
Yes, heavily pregnant Hayley, who is not a hybrid yet, is beating Michael. I promise this is going to be my last one for Hayley, but this is actually hilarious compared to the others. But yeah, Michael, who was physically strong enough to go toe-to-toe with Klaus in his hybrid form, as in after the ritual, that Michael was losing to a heavily pregnant Hayley who isn't a hybrid yet. She's still a regular werewolf, and she's in human form. She isn't even fully transformed yet. I think a writer for this episode said that the reason why Hayley was able to beat Michael, or at least not die to Michael, was because Michael was weakened because he was on the other side. I'm sorry, but by the way that they were making Michael move, then there is no way that man was weakened. Even if he was weakened, Caroline should be more than strong enough to beat Hayley. Again, Hayley isn't just not a hybrid yet, she was still a werewolf, she is also heavily pregnant. Caroline was able to beat Mason easily in seconds, and there was nothing holding Mason back. And Mason was also a triggered werewolf. But a heavily pregnant Hayley is strong enough to survive Michael. And Michael, instead of killing Hayley, decided to just talk constantly, even though he said he wanted to kill her. Why did they even bother with this scene?
Get out of my head.
I'm not in your head. You're in mine. And seeing as you lie daggered by your own beloved brother, you have no choice but to listen. I have a proposition for you. Come along.
The reason why this is number one is just like with Lucian and Freya, Dahlia letting Klaus into her mind is the reason why she lost and ultimately is the reason why she died. Of course she had a reason to do that, but she didn't really need to. Dahlia could have beaten them on her own. Dahlia didn't need Klaus on her side, but it was made to seem like Dahlia had to have Klaus on her side, which doesn't make sense because Dahlia was beating them on her own. Like literally everything around Dahlia and Klaus in the later parts of season 2 was just pure plot armor. Like Dahlia planned to ostracize Klaus from the rest of the family, which worked spectacularly somehow because they forgot that Klaus never ever fights with his claws. But for some reason they saw claw marks on Aiden's face and they said, yeah, no, that's definitely Klaus because Klaus has motives to actually kill Aiden. Even though Klaus never actually fights with his claws, but they all believed that it was Klaus anyways. Meaning even though the plan's execution from Dahlia was stupid, the effects was flawless because Klaus was not only ostracized, but he was daggered and was left daggered. And the Mikaelsons didn't want to undagger Klaus. So why would she undagger Klaus? Klaus is a bigger strategic threat, as in Klaus is the only person that can go up against her in terms of strategy. Taking him off the board basically grants her the victory. The moment that Klaus became a factor again, she lost. And the thing is that she knows that. She wouldn't have gone after Klaus if she didn't know that. So why exactly would she undagger Klaus? To make her job easier? If she was smart, she would know that that would make her job a lot harder. If your plan wasn't to kidnap Hope but to negotiate, then why didn't you just negotiate with the rest of the family? It could have saved you a lot of time. And the thing is that it would have actually benefited Hope if they actually had a powerful ally in you, just in case there's even more enemies. Why didn't she negotiate with the rest of the family? Freya would be the only person that would be stopping them from doing anything like that. Hayley may be, but once Klaus and Elijah convince her, she would also back the plan to negotiate with Dahlia. But no, Dahlia only negotiated with just Klaus, undaggered Klaus, and then let Klaus into her mind, allowing him to confirm what he already suspects, that Esther is the remaining ingredient for the weapon to kill Dahlia. If she didn't do that, then the Mikaelsons would have been operating on the wrong ingredients and the wrong weapon, and she would have easily beaten them and just take Hope. But anyways, I did the exact same video with the Vampire Diaries, and with that one, I actually had 10 plot armor moments. And if you haven't watched that video yet, then feel free to click on the video that's on screen now.